Join Apostle St. Gilstrap as she partners with Brighter Day Missions Liberia in expressing the love of God through educational empowerment, fighting for the rights of the children of Liberia, and hunger alleviation. Your love gift of any amount helps staff educators provide food for the children, educational equipment, and so much more. To partner with Apostle St. Gilstrap with Missions to Liberia, or for more information, simply visit www.cgmenterprises.org. The seed that leaves your hand never leaves your life, but goes into your future where it multiplies. Need life coaching? Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling with Dr. St. Gilstrap is a life transformational coach and has experiential training to transform and help you discover your best life yet. For all of your coaching and counseling needs, simply visit www.cgmenterprises.org.
And you are definitely in for a treat, and we are excited to have you join tonight. This is Domestic Violence Month. Out of everything else that's going on, we also know that this is the month to celebrate those that are in recovery or those that have survived breast cancer. Well, it's also domestic violence, and I am a domestic violence recipient. I want to come on tonight to share some of the stories of the women that survived and was able to call themselves or consider themselves to be a survivor. So tonight we welcome you to the broadcast with Rescue, Refine, Restore. And I am your life coach on tonight, Dr. St. Gilstrap. And I'm telling you, hold on tight because you are in for a treat on tonight. I'm excited about this broadcast because I know that we're going to share some very inspiring information, empowering information. There may be some tears, there may be some sadness, but through it all, we are all survivors. So we have some women with us tonight that's going to share our story. And I want you all to get ready for what is about to be said. This is Rescue, Refine, Restore, coaching and counseling. And I am your life coach on tonight. Again, Dr. St. Gilstrap. And you all that have information or you have Q&A that you want to share with me or you want more information about coaching and whatever the situation may be, domestic violence, marriage counseling, marriage therapy, I'm telling you, this is where you want to be. So you can definitely reach out and you can send us an email if you like. We are available for you at r3.coachingandcounseling@gmail.com, or you can go to our website to www.cgmenterprises.org. Again, I'm your life coach on tonight, and I'm excited about the domestic violence conversation we're getting ready to have. The topic for tonight is past, present, and future. How do we get out or overcome where we were in the midst of that, the healing process, and then living life today? And so that's our discussion. And with that being said, our first person we're going to bring to the platform tonight is none other than Pastor Robin Faviren. She is a pastor and she is a outreach person. She has a vision for outreach and street ministry, and I'm telling you, she has a powerful ministry. Her ministry is in Savannah, Georgia, releasing or the oil ministry. So come on, let's put your hands together for our first live audience conversation piece on tonight. So we welcome her to this platform and we're excited to have her. Come on and put your hands together for Pastor Robin. God bless you, woman of God. God bless you.
Hello, I'm Robin Urban, releasing of the Oil Ministries. I'm thankful. I'm thankful Dr. Gilstrap for inviting me on tonight to talk about domestic violence, past, present, and future. But I'm thanking God for knowing that I am a survivor of domestic violence.
Amen.
And it wasn't too long ago. It was, I married in 2017. It was November. From the time I said,
hold that, Pastor Robin. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have another guest we want to bring to the platform as well. A senior pastor of New Life Covenant Training Center, and she's all the way from Atlanta, Georgia as well. She's in Georgia, and so we want to welcome this powerhouse, none other than Senior Pastor Aquila Riley Jordan. And so we welcome her to the platform. Come on and put your hands together for her.
Bless you.
God bless you.
Amen.
Listen, I'm excited about the conversation. I had to stop Pastor Robin. She was getting ready to just dive in. And I know it's going to be a hot topic. Whenever we're talking about domestic violence, so many people's lives are touched and transformed. And so, with that being said, because Pastor Robin opened up first, my first question is, um, Robin, my first question is to, well, it was to Robin. My first question is, at what decision and at what timing did you make up your mind? And Pastor, we could talk. I guess there's some bad communication. At what point did you make up your mind that it was time to come out of that relationship?
You're talking to me or Pastor Robin?
I'm talking to you. Robin's not here.
Okay. Um, when I knew I was not only being disrespected,
Mm-hmm.
but when I also knew that I didn't deserve what I was getting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many times um, domestic violence has kind of like a sneaky way in coming into your life.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I made up my mind that enough was enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how did you get to that point of saying enough is enough? How long were you in the relationship? Share with the audience some of the things you experienced.
Well, it started off um, that he didn't want me to really have friends. He started saying, you always want to be around your family or always talking to your family. And I would find myself telling my friends, look, I'm home now. I would call everybody before I got home. And so that there wouldn't be an argument, so that, you know, I wouldn't have to go through the verbal abuse, because mine started out verbal abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it transpired
Mm-hmm.
into physical abuse.
Mm.
Um, and then, you know, I was hospitalized twice.
Wow.
One time in a coma, not even knowing I was in the world.
Wow.
And you know, before I got in this relationship, I always said when I would hear about women being abused, I
Mm.
wouldn't take that. But what an abuser does is before they abuse you, they tear you down.
Yes.
They pull you away from the
Your
people that
people
really
that love
love
you.
you.
Yes.
And so that's what was happening. I was pastoring. We would go to church. A lot of times I would be cursed out, called everything but a child of God on
Wow.
the way to church. You know, then I would have to preach through all of that.
Mm.
Um, I would have to minister through all of that. And it started wearing on me,
Right.
having to do all of that. And what people don't understand, if you don't know something,
Mm-hmm.
ask somebody. Because
Yes.
when the first time I was physically abused,
Mm-hmm.
he went to jail.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, they beg you, they plead with you,
Yes.
and you really start feeling sorry for them.
Yes.
You shame come upon you,
Come on.
um, all kind of different feelings of,
Yes.
uh, you know, maybe I deserve this, maybe I done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And when they tear you down like that and pull you away from the people that love you, then you feel just out of pocket.
Yes.
And I had one friend that I could literally tell anything.
Mm-hmm.
And she always had my back. And like I say, it didn't start off physical. And I want the women and men, because I learned men are being abused too.
Yes, that's true.
And so I am a survivor because the turmoil had got so bad in our house until I just hated to go home. I didn't no
Ooh,
longer want to go home. I didn't no longer want to be around people. You know, I would find myself, stand away from people, stand away from the things that I love to do, and that's
yes,
minister. You
yes.
know, um, and you bend and you're broken and you're torn
My
because
God.
I stayed in this marriage 21 years
Wow.
after nursing him from heart attacks, leukemia,
Jesus.
praying and
Jesus.
fasting. The
Jesus.
doctors gave him 6 months to live, and he was still mean as a junkyard dog.
Jesus.
Kidneys shutting down. God giving me instructions. So when I tell you I went through, I went through. I I didn't even know what to do anymore. I didn't know how to make it work no more. And I began praying,
Yeah,
saying, God, you
right.
gotta either take me out by life and bring me on so I can live eternally with you,
Right.
or you got to do something.
Right.
And so I'm so grateful that I still have a mind.
Amen. That's right. That's right. That's right. It'll take you there. It'll take you
I'm
there.
serious. You don't know what to do anymore because
Right.
they are cursing you out. You not only curse you out, it got so bad because my ministry used to be in Maryland.
Uh-huh.
It got so bad until the men in the church said, Pastor, we are street people. Either you're going to allow us to meet with him with you or without you because we are tired of him disrespecting you.
Wow.
That's how bad it got. And
Wow.
so I'm telling you, preachers, don't be afraid to go to somebody and let them so that you can vent, so
Yes.
that you can get this off of you. And don't be ashamed to walk away. I'm learning, and God is teaching me through this process. I had many days of tears, and I covered him so that my niece stayed in the house with me. And until he put me in the coma, she didn't even know that I was being abused. My family, when we separated almost 2 years ago, my family did not know I was being abused to that level.
Jesus.
This is how much I covered him. If you wasn't around us all the time, you would have never knew. Because when I went out, I covered him. We got to teach in the church that it's okay to walk out of an abusive relationship
That's right. That's right now. We definitely got to do that.
because a young lady Monday night lost her life because she was trying to walk out. Don't walk out without calling the police. Don't walk out without trying to get somebody to call the police because you
Right.
don't know people have gotten killed trying to protect their loved ones.
That's true. That's very true.
And I'm telling you, I went through in my mind. I
Mm,
mean, it will have you thinking, am I saved? And you knowing you're not doing anything to
mm.
cause this
That's
stuff.
right. That's right.
And he's a narcissist.
Oh,
Everything was about him.
who,
Everything.
who, Jesus.
He never done any wrong. Everything was
My
me.
God, my God.
Even when we separated, people were
Listen.
coming back and telling me, you know, he never say anything about him. It's all on you.
Always about somebody else. That's it.
And look, women and men, I'm gonna tell you how you know you're running into a narcissist. When they say their spouse was all at fault.
Yep.
Because that's what I had to hear. I
Yep.
had to hear that his
It's all your fault.
former wife,
Yes.
it was all her.
Yes.
His relationships, it was all them.
Yes.
And now it's all me.
Yes.
You know, but the thing we have to understand,
Uh-huh.
God don't want you in that.
He don't want us in those
And
types of
every
relationships.
marriage is not of God.
That's right.
What we are doing is marrying our assignment.
Next.
I'm
You said
telling
something
you.
big. You said something big. Woman of God, you said you have touched on so many valid points. But this is the thing I want to say to you. I believe that we are drawn sometimes in our youth or our young age to the things that we think that we desire or need because what we missed in our childhood or what we went through in our childhood. And so what you said was that he literally played to your on your mind and your consciousness and just beat you down till you had low self-esteem. And so that's the essence of where they started off. But my thing is, why did you stay so long? And then how did you get in it? How did you get in that relationship?
Okay, let me back up. When I got in the relationship,
Uh-huh.
there was a sign.
Uh-huh.
But we are nurturers by
Uh-huh.
nature.
Nature. Mm-hmm.
And we feel like we can fit. And I've always, even from a little girl, I would always hang with the underdog, so to speak. And I always thought I could fix a person.
Right. Tell the truth.
But if that person don't want to be fixed,
there's nothing you can do.
I don't care what you do, how much you try to teach them about God. See, because when he left me, guess what? Because I left and moved in a house with me and my son, only to realize my son was doing the same thing I was doing, covering.
Wow.
Covering his dad. See, and the thing people don't understand, y'all better watch your children, because you don't know what these men and what these women are doing to your children. I learned a whole lot of stuff that I can't talk about because it's under investigation. But let me tell y'all something. Pay attention to your child. I found out that my son really changed in his kindergarten year, by midway kindergarten. Had I known at the time, because I was, it's a whole lot of abuse that people go through. We don't understand why people act the way they do. Pay attention to your daughters, your sons, because domestic violence go more if they are abusing the woman. 9 times out of 10, they're abusing the children.
Let me say some things that you don't want to say, because I need to clarify. Most times we're drawn to pain because of molestation, because of rape, because of things that happen in our family. There was a drunk father, a drunk mother. There was drugs involved. So we've been affected by our environment. And so with that said, those that say they love us, we are drawn to that because we have a need to want to be protected. And so because we have a need need to want to be protected, many times we drawn to what's wrong because pain beget pain. Hurt people. So it's easy to identify that spirit within somebody else, and therefore you find yourself drawn to what you are in or how you feel. Trauma beget trauma. For some reason, I don't know what it is about pain, but pain can identify with other people that deal with pain. And
Yes.
then by what you said was we are a nurturer by nature, and we are. And we feel like, watch this, we can take a person that's a project
Come
and
on.
we can fix them, we can help them, we can repair them, and we can put all the holes and everything back together. But I realize on this journey called process that that's not our job, that's God's job. And so we find ourselves getting in the way of what God really wants to do. So when we saw the signs, what we should have done was we should have left the first time. Well, I had it good. I don't know about nobody else's situation, but mine started off good. I had gifts, I had cars, I had jewelry, I had it all. And then watch this, he started getting high on his own supply. And then that's when things start transitioning. However, I didn't see the alcohol addict then. I didn't see the drug abuser then. I didn't see all of those things then because it was camouflage. Oh, come on, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So now we got to get to a place where we can identify. We have to learn to identify with the wounds that we have and never been dealt with, because our parents didn't know how to deal with PTSD. They didn't know what dealing with trauma was. They didn't have triggers, or they didn't
That's
want,
right.
to carry us to counseling or to get the help that we actually needed because they were too embarrassed or ashamed. So the old people just say, just sweep it under the rug and just keep it in the house. And what goes on in your house stays in your house. Let's just talk about it because that's what's real. That's
Li-
factual right there. And so now we're raising children such as ourselves, because now we have scars from our past based on what our parents say, because they were too embarrassed to take us to get counseling or to get therapy. And watch this, knowing that they needed it too. Oh my God.
You're so
This is
right.
not a God show, but I'm telling you, had it not been for God, then we all would have been messed up, because our great grandparents came from the cotton fields. Then they raised their children, and their children became our grandparents. And then they didn't show love, they didn't show affection, they didn't show attention, but they kept having babies, and they could only take care of those babies and tell us, well, you be strong. As long as you work, you gonna be all right. And everybody just keep going on. Well, at the end of the day, nobody told them that their husbands or the uncles or the nephews or the cousins was molesting all the girls
Come
in
on
the
here.
family. And
Come
so
on.
nobody is paying attention, and nobody's watching, and nobody on their watch, because now they got 18 babies, 20 kids, 14, 13, 10, and nobody is watching the younger children. And so now we grow up with that stigma, and we attract the narcissistic men, just like you said. And then the men attract narcissistic women, because that door swing open both ways. And now we're in a triangle of pain and don't know how to get out.
That part. Okay, just like with me. Again, I've been a nurturer all of my life because I was the oldest of four kids. The man that molested me actually was friend with
That's
my
how it goes.
family.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
And the thing of it is, people listen and listen good to us. He had daughters, sons, and a wife. So, who would have thought back in that day that he would have been doing that kind of thing, because you didn't think like that back then.
Mm-mm.
And so I covered that. And how he got me to not tell is he knew I was a daddy's girl.
I kill
And
you
he
there.
told me, if you
You
tell
too.
your dad gonna kill me, he going to jail. And because I wasn't raised around drugs and alcohol and all of this, And my mom and dad raised us in the church. We didn't know nothing about people being in and out of jail. You know, our uncles might have went to jail for racing their cars on the street or something. But we didn't really know about jail. So when he said I wouldn't see my dad, I really thought I wouldn't be able to ever see my dad again.
Oh yeah.
And and so because of that, I didn't tell. And actually I didn't tell until the man was dead. I finally told my mom and dad and a friend. My mom and them didn't know why I was going through all the changes of becoming rebellious
Yes.
and
Bitter and
having
angry.
all headaches. And you know, they used to call me Sybil because I was having these headaches that literally would send me into this frenzy like thing, like I was having a seizure or something. And so they took me to all kind of doctors, but I couldn't talk about it. I had buried it so deep. I
My
didn't want
God.
to deal with that pain.
A lot of people don't.
And when, in order for you to get rid of something, you
Uh-huh.
got to deal with the
You gotta
pain.
deal with it. You have to deal with it.
If you don't deal with the pain, you can never get over whatever it is you're trying to get over.
That's so true. That's so true. You have
I
to
had to
confront it.
get over it.
Yes.
And so once I began to talk about it, but
Listen.
in the call, but the reason is because we have to understand that no matter what,
This is serious.
not
It's serious.
deal with it. You
Uh-huh.
can't deal with the pain.
Yes.
We got to deal with it. Because if you deal with the pain, it will make a difference. Once I even began to deal with this pain,
Uh-huh.
because the pain of the abuse and
Uh-huh.
being mistreated
Uh-huh.
started taking a toll. My
Uh-huh.
doctors was trying to get me to tell
Mm-hmm.
because I would go to the hospital
Mm-hmm.
with stroke like blood pressures.
Mm.
And when I would go, and they would keep me in the hospital sometime 2 weeks just to see, they would have to take me off my medication.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's a hot topic. I don't know what's going on with the communication, but I'm telling you some things are happening. We have to be mindful. This is Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling. Our topic tonight is past, present, and future, dealing with domestic violence. And so we were going over some things as it relates to childhood and the things that cause a woman or a man sometimes to draw pain. So we have to be mindful that you have to be aware. If you don't seek the treatment that you need, your life will constantly be around pain, or you'll constantly draw pain, or you reflect pain and things of that nature. But you have to have a desire to want to heal. Healing as it is important, but it all starts with a decision. You got to make a decision to want to heal. Once you make your mind up, you make your decision to want to heal, then you'll realize that your life get better from that. One thing you cannot be when you're dealing with domestic violence is you cannot be embarrassed. You cannot be ashamed because you are at a place that you need help. And when you need help, the first thing you do what is cry out. And it is so imperative that we know and understand that domestic violence will kill you if you do not deal with the addiction of it. Many times those that suffer in a domestic violence relationship, you suffer in silence because you're too ashamed or too embarrassed to share with your family, your friends, or your loved ones, or those that are close in proximity with you because you just don't want them to know. You don't want them to look down on you, or you don't want to be embarrassed or be ashamed, or you don't want to be horrified or mortified, whatever the situation may be. But at the end of the day, domestic violence can easily turn deadly. So we want to make sure that we're careful and we're cautious in all moves that we make when we are in domestic violence situation, whether it's a man or a woman. Domestic violence have different faces. It has different nationalities and different personalities. And you have to know how to deal with that individual person accordingly so that you will not lose your life. I'm trying to help each and every person that's listening under the sound of my voice, because I'm telling you, this thing is serious. We have lost so many women and men. As a matter of fact, statistics say every 3 seconds someone is killed or abused by an assailant. We want to make sure that's not you. So we're trying to give you the proper precautions that you need to take in order to better your life so that you can become a survivor of domestic violence. The first thing I want you to know is that domestic violence is through all nationalities, and you cannot just see it as a black thing, a white thing, a Chinese thing, a Asian thing, a Pakistani thing, or Indian thing. No, it's across all boundaries and borders. And so this is one disease that is not racist. And so I want you all to understand that if you are in a domestic violence situation, the first thing you need to do is you need to dial 911 so that you can put it on record that you are in an abusive situation and a report can actually start. And then you need to get a case number that will actually follow you. Once you actually have that case number, then you start building a case. Watch this. Everything you do, you're going to have to be strategic in your plans and in your actions, because domestic violence, the person that's committing the abuse, they will kill you because their mental is not where it needs to be. It's not stable. It's definitely unstable. So their cognition is definitely all of sequence and off key. And so we want to make sure that we don't give that person any reason to take your life. So you need to put it on record. You need to make sure you have a case number, and then you literally need to take out a restraining order, but some type of way you're going to have to do it in secret, because you have to start making a plan behind the scene, but yet keeping your everyday functionality and your everyday plans as perfect and precise as you possibly can, so you will not lose your life. I want to make sure that each and every person on this call that's listening right now know, in order for you to move, you have to move strategically when you're dealing with someone that's an abuser, because you do not want to bring your life into their hands so that they have the upper hand on you. Are you hearing me? And so we were talking about earlier, and I want to share some light on this because there's so many different facets to domestic violence. Domestic violence is not just physical. And I'm going to say it again because I'm a 2-time domestic violence survivor. And so I want you all to know that pain beget pain. How did I end up in a relationship that I had no idea that this person was abusive? Because in the beginning, I saw the beauty of the person and I didn't see who that person really was. The first thing is I didn't have a spirit of discernment. So now it makes a difference when you're able to discern and having gifts to pick up things, because you'll make better decisions and use different judgment. And then the next thing is, let me go back to the fact that domestic violence is not just physical. Are you hearing me? It's also verbal. A person's tongue. I'm reminded in the word, even in the Bible, it says that out of the abundance of the mouth, the heart speaks. But what you speak out your tongue, what you speak out your mouth, the trajectories that you make, when you begin to vocalize your words, they can trap people. So the Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we want to make sure that we're understanding, we're clear that what you project out your mouth with your lips, with your tongue, it could kill somebody and it can destroy somebody. The first thing that it does is it pounds until it beats down on a person's confidence, and they begin to walk in a thing called low self-esteem. And when you walk in low self-esteem, that means you lack confidence. The next thing is physical abuse, where you actually, a person beats on you. And so then there's also what we call elderly abuse. You can elderly abuse someone that's of age, not taking them to the doctor, not making sure they have the proper medication, making sure they're clean, making sure their living conditions are to par, making sure they're eating every day. If you're not doing the proper things to take care of that individual who is part of your family, it could be your mother, your grandmother, your grandparents, whomever, your aunts, your uncles, then that can become elderly abuse. Another one that many don't focus on is those that are married and you refrain from being intimate with your spouse or your significant other, then that is considered to be sexual abuse. And if you're refraining from being intimate, well, the Bible tells us that your body is not his and his is not yours. And so, who are you to refrain from being intimate when you all have a covenant together? And it takes the consummation to actually connect and bind and intertwine the two flesh that become one. And so we want to make sure that we understand. And last but not least, and I want you all to know and understand, the number one thing is finances. The finances, if one of the individuals is more dominant in the finances than the other one, then they have the ability to control the spending. And so when you're married, you don't want to be married and single in a relationship. And so what happens is that the person that's the abuser, if they are the dominant one in the finances, then they use the finances to control you. So now you're dealing with low self-esteem, physical altercation, verbal abuse, physical abuse, financially abuse, and sexual abuse, and all of those things wrapped into one. And so, with that being said, we want to make sure that anyone listening to this video, and if you are dealing with those things in your life on tonight, I want you to reach out to me because I want to help you get through what you're dealing with right now. Because domestic violence is not just, watch this, issue or trauma. It is a mental disorder. It is very dysfunctional. There is a mental illness that actually going on. I remember that I was on a call a few weeks ago, and he was asking me, why did you stay? Why did you stay? I was on the radio, and I said, because my love was sick. I had sick love, and I wasn't aware that my love was sick. How was my love sick? Because I was still dealing with trauma from my childhood that was never dealt with or never addressed. And so when you're dealing with things such as that from your childhood, you literally see yourself broken into a relationship that you're trying to say is healthy, and that's impossible. And so we want to make sure that everyone listening under the sound of my voice, that there is a solution for you. And the solution is this: make up your mind, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that you want to come out this relationship, the first thing you need to do is dial 911. That is going to help you in your case. And do listen to me very carefully. Most domestic violence people, they usually drop the charges against their assailant. However, depending on the severity of the case, the state might pick up the charges, and there's nothing that you can do. And so, this is what I want you to know: there is a way out, but you have to make up your mind that you want to come out of this. Oh, I feel something shifting in me. And so, we got to make sure that once your mind is made up, that you never go back. There are things in place right now. You have United Way, which is 211, that you can dial, and United Way can connect you with safe homes. If you need to change your identity, or if you need to go to another state, or you need to get away from where you are immediately, you need to dial 911, but you also need to dial 211. 911, we know, is a closest police station in your area. And then 211 is United Way throughout this nation, and they have safe houses. And also, there are other safe places that you can actually have 800 numbers to connect with. I'm telling you, it's time for you. Situation. You cannot afford to stay there. If you stay, the matters do not get better, they get worse. I'm gonna share this with you before I released the call for tonight. One thing that occurred in a domestic violence relationship is that after the altercation, the fight, or what have you, then it's a gift, or it's a trip, or it's some flowers, or it's something to appease you for the time, uh, until the next occurrence. Are you hearing me? And so to make you happy or to keep you satisfied or whatever the case may be, it's going to be some jewelry or, again, a new car or something to satisfy your appetite, to put a bandage on the pain. But let me tell you something, what pains you on the outside and can heal is not what's going to heal you on the inside, because you have to learn how to heal inside out and not outside in. Outside in is going to be okay, but what you don't see is what's going to take you longer to heal. So, with that being said, those of you that are listening to this call on tonight, as we discuss domestic violence, past, present, and future tense, I want you all to know and understand there is a way out. So, 911, if there's an emergency or you feel like your life is threatened or you're in harm's way. Number two is United Way. They have all different types of safe house connections that you can actually dial and you can go to, and they will have that you'll get the opportunity for them to relocate you. And so you'll be in a safer environment, even if you have to go under an alias. It is worth your life. It is worth your life. What you are dealing with right now, you do not deserve that. There is a way out. I want to see each and every person that's in a domestic violence situation. I want you to live past your pain. I want you to know that another type of life that you can live, and that's one pleasing. That's one with excitement, with joy, with peace, with happiness. If Let me say this: if God don't treat you this way, and I'm a Christian, so I got to say it. If God's not treating you this way, then why should you allow a man or woman to treat you this way? And so you deserve to live. You deserve to be happy. And you most certainly deserve to be free. On tonight, I guess the enemy thought that he was going to get the victory, but not so. Because we have to realize and we have to understand it's time for us to make better decisions with our life. And it starts with a thought right here. Make sure when you make up your mind is not up, it's not down. When you make up your mind is made up. There are people every day that are being abused and may not live to tell their story. However, I'm not that person. I made a way out. God allowed me a way to escape. And I had to make up my mind after years of domestic violence. I had to make up my mind to get out. And so, those of you that would go back and you would listen, this is a very, very serious thing. Uh, and we don't want you to take it lightly. I never want you to take any type of domestic violence situation lightly. Love don't hurt. Love don't abuse. Love don't break bones. As a woman was on, Pastor was on earlier, and she was talking about her situation, and she said she was in her marriage for 21 years, 21 years, and she was still preaching the gospel. 21 years, and she was still going to church. 21 years, yet she was in a domestic violence situation with her spouse, her husband. So let me say this to the church folks: just because he's a preacher, just because she's a preacher, does not mean it's right, or it does not make it right. You cannot hide behind the Bible and beat or verbally or sexually or financially abuse your husband or your wife. Just because you can quote scripture does not mean that you're not held accountable for it. Let me say it again, because the enemy trying to tie my tongue. Just because you can quote a scripture does not mean you can hide behind it. That is not love. I remember growing up, and some people are so love sick, and some people are so traumatized that they will use the concept. I remember when my mother and my father spanked me, because every time they spank me, then they tell me they love me. That's not love, ladies and gentlemen. That's not love. Our parents back then was teaching us a way of discipline, not a way of pain and abuse. If someone is beating the crap out of you with a pole, with a bat, with a belt, with a brick. They're burning you with fire or burning you with gas or lighting you. That is not love. If they're whipping you with a belt or a piece of wood or a board or a paddle, or they're choking you till you literally go unconscious, that's not love. If they're putting giving you black eyes, breaking your bones, busting your lips, bruising your face, snatching out your hair, cutting you, that's not love. Love does not hurt. Love does not hurt. And so I want to make sure that we are clear and we understand what love actually means and what love actually entails. And it's so important that you all listening under the sound of my voice, let me say it one more time before I let go of this call on tonight, that if you are in a domestic violence situation and you're trying to get out, dial 911. Dial the police, the local police station. You got to dial 911 and then dial 211. And by all means, don't go back. Sometimes you got to leave everything in order for you to survive. You got to get rid of everything in order to live your life that you rightfully desire to live. Now, once you get out of that situation, find you a counselor, find you a therapist, find you a coach, because someone is going to have to help heal you and restore you back to health. Because watch this, you've been damaged and you've been broken and you've been shattered and you've been cracked. And so someone now needs to help. The healing process has to begin, but you have to allow it to begin. This is my message to you on tonight. It's time for you to live. Be a survivor, become a survivor. How do you do that? You have to make up your mind that enough is enough. Desire to live on tonight. I'm telling you, I'm excited. This again is Rescue, Refine, Restore Coaching and Counseling, and I am your coach on tonight, life coach Dr. St. Gilstrap, and I'm telling you, I'm excited about this conversation. I know we had several guests that chime in real quickly. I don't know if the communication faulted for whatever reason. However, I want you all to know and understand that that doesn't stop anything. So again, if you are a survivor on tonight, I just admonish you. Congratulations. We thank you so much that you're able to live through the madness. You were able to survive through death. You know, whatever came against you, you survived the broken bones, the broken limbs. You're just a survivor. And so it's a beautiful thing that you made it out of your current situation or your current circumstances. So with that being said, on tonight, I'm going to go ahead and bid you farewell, and we'll do a part two on this topic of conversation next Friday. Actually, next Friday we're coming back on with a dynamic woman. She have 350,000 followers on Instagram. She is a powerful influencer. She is also, her name is Joy Hunt. She is an attorney and she is phenomenal. I mean, she have a mind-blowing story, and we will hear her story on next Friday. I want you all to chime in, and I want you to stay tuned to the broadcast because you all will be in for a treat. I'm excited. I'm excited. So with that being said, until next time, again, this is Coach Dr. St. Gilstrap, Rescue, Refine, Restore, Coaching and Counseling. You all do me a favor, reach out to me if you need my services. Again, you can reach me at my telephone number, 678-276-9658, or you can reach me by website, www.cgmenterprises.org, or by email at r3.coachingandcounseling@gmail.com. Until next time, you have a wonderful, powerful, prosperous night. Bye-bye.